All right, guys, welcome back to the Blizchat podcast. Today we're going to be talking just mostly about video games today, just kind of like, our favorite games and whatnot, kind of games by category, just kind of going through some general stuff. Maybe we can get some good recommendations out there and whatnot. But yeah, anyway, welcome our special guest, Casey, again. Casey, take it away.
Well, hello, y'all. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's always a good time. My only really other person who's been on the podcast, but this is also only the third podcast, so don't feel special yet. You're not quite special quite yet, but um, but yeah, I kind of told you I was gonna rant about this for a little bit, and so I'm gonna rant about this first and kind of get the ranting out of the
Okay.
way. So, um, but yeah, I went to church on Sunday because my brother Ezra is getting married to his fiance. So he's like, hey, like we need to go shopping, get like our tuxes and everything, get suits and whatnot. So I got my suit and all that good stuff. But before I went to church, he's like, we'll go do the suit and stuff after that. So we went to church, and I think there was like two people wearing masks, right? I wore my mask, and obviously I'm vaccinated, so it doesn't matter as much. But I was just walking around there, and I was just like, people are fucking complaining about the world not going back to normal, and like this is definitely part of the problem because you have these fucking people walking around without masks and stuff on. So I just thought it was unbelievable. I mean, I guess it's like because it's more conservative and whatnot, but yeah, I don't know. What are your kind of thoughts on that and whatnot, if you have any?
Well, I mean, if you start complaining about it and you really are worried about it, then actively don't make steps towards it. It's what's the point of complaining? It's not like you're actively working towards any change to make anything different.
Yeah. But I thought it'd be interesting to see like how many I don't know if churches are actually like starting like COVID stuff or whatnot. If it's like spreading a lot in churches because
Right.
no, it's not like they were social distancing. I guess like they had some rows like blocked off in the church and not, but like walking around the cafe or like in the main rooms, nobody was wearing a mask anyway, and that's when you're getting close to people. So I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
Hmm.
I kind of want to rant about it for a second, but I don't know because obviously I wear my mask as a medical person. I've seen people who've died from COVID, and I've seen kind of the consequences of it. But I don't know. For people who are
Right.
supposed to be so sorry, so like selfless and like love and peace, they're definitely not super trying to work towards that. I thought so. I don't know, but anyway. Yeah, but anyway, our main topic today is video games, so we'll kind of get onto that. But I kind of want to talk about like video games we played as kids and whatnot to kind of start with. So, one of the main
Hmm.
games I played when I was younger is like The Sims. I like The Sims, which is
Oh
interesting
yeah.
game. Yeah, because you kind of like see what it's like to be an adult. I think that is kind of more of a kid's game. Live a different life and see what it's like to be an adult and have to work, and it is a pretty good
Right.
symbolism of
You,
life.
you get to like build your dream house and shit.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely haven't played Sims in years. Like I definitely used to play it more as a kid. Same with like Sim City. I used to play a lot of Sim City, which is always fun to just
That's
build a
where I put a
town.
lot of my time. That was fun.
Yeah, you build like a huge town, and then you just fucking like, just like what am I trying to say?
Get hit by a fucking alien attacking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
blasts
Or
your big
spawn like the fucking
skyscrapers or some shit.
yeah, spawn the
You're like, oh, there
giant
hasn't been a
dinosaur to
tornado in
eat
a
everybody.
while.
Yeah. And now I want Zoo Tycoon. Oh man, I fucking love Zoo Tycoon, which they don't really they have like Planet Zoo now, but I don't know, the original was amazing when you just make their whole zoo. And same when they had the dinosaur expansion. Again, you could just like fucking lock the
Right?
zoo and then just
You
let the
could make the
dinosaur.
craziest exhibits
Yeah, that was always
and then
fun,
just
but
open up the doors and let 'em around.
yeah. So what did you kind of play as a kid? What were your main games?
Well, besides city builders like that, and of course the Zoo Tycoon, I also did a lot of train tycoon, or I think it was called Railroad Tycoon
Hmm.
3. That one was a lot of fun.
It was good
Did not
training
age
for
well.
video games, right?
Good training.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, I also played the shit out of Rise of Nations
Oh,
and like
that's a good one.
Civ 3.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
older Civs game were good
Uh,
too. Gandhi and just nuke everything, obviously. I guess it was more Civ 4, but I also played StarCraft. StarCraft was an interesting one, like StarCraft 2
oh, yes. Yes, I played the crap out of StarCraft too.
and Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer was also a good one, but
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Good old Red Alert.
Yeah, I did play
The
that one a
most
little bit.
intense title music.
You know, music's always good.
Also played the shit out of like the old school flight sims.
Yeah, I played a little bit of those, but I wasn't too much as into those. But we'll kind of go through like some different topics. I have a whole bunch of genres pulled up, so we can kind of cover each genre of like games we kind of recommend or like for that. But what would you say like your top video games are now that you enjoy?
Ooh, probably like open world RPG or like survival strategy type.
Well, what game titles do you got? What'd you say?
Well, in the survival category, I love me some Forest. I love Green Hell.
Okay,
As for like open world RPG, um, honestly, anywhere from good old Skyrim
can't beat
to
Skyrim.
like
Skyrim
Far
is just
Cry, you
Skyrim has
can't beat
so many
Skyrim.
quests. It's just such an immersive game that it's like hard to beat
It's
that. But
almost a meme how many quests they have.
and Green Hell's obviously a newer game, so like you should give a little rundown on Green Hell in case nobody knows what that game is.
Oh yeah, that one's more of a hardcore survival game where if you compare it to like Raft, that Raft is a little bit more loose on you when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to like your how you have to survive and your enemies, whereas in Green Hell, you're out down in South America in the rainforest. So you could be just running in a direction and get bit by a snake, and
Yeah.
now you gotta wrap your leg. And the inspection and like the inventory management is actually brilliant. It's
Mm.
not locked, so you can start looking at your arms and then go into your inventory and pull out what you need. As well as the crafting, like you not only are you looking in your crafting inventory, but you can interact with items around you on the ground that you wouldn't
Gotcha.
be able to pick up in your inventory to like craft as well to make bigger items.
Okay, so yeah, that sounds interesting. I know we were talking about it, and I might be interested in getting it eventually, but I want to go back to there's a couple games. I'm just looking through my Steam library real quick of games that I used to play a lot when I was younger. Empire at War, I played the fuck out of that game, and I still play that game
Oh,
occasionally.
yep.
That's a good one. And Stronghold Crusader. I don't know if you ever played that one, but that's like a medieval kind of city builder game, but you do like skirmishes, you do like
That sounds
battles and
very
stuff.
interesting. It sounds like something I would have played. When I
Honestly,
was
it's
younger, I
yeah.
was very
Yeah, they have like Stronghold Crusader 2, which they just came out with 2 years ago, which is pretty good. But yeah, I definitely need somebody to play it. Like that's a game that you should look into and that we can play together too. I don't know how expensive Stronghold Crusader 2 is, but it got
Oh,
really yeah. They haven't changed too much from the original one. There's a lot of Stronghold games, and then Crusader was kind of like an off branch kind of style of it. But there's a lot of Stronghold games. I think you'd like them a lot, so might be a possibility of something we could stream and kind of play
hell
through.
yeah,
But
I'd be down.
I'm trying to think. My favorite games. I'm mostly of streaming my favorite games now. Like I really love Subnautica series, and obviously we're doing a Below Zero run through right now. And The Last of Us is one of my favorite games. Just like the story games, I really like the story games. I feel like, um, obviously, you know, I used to play a lot of Minecraft when I was younger too, and I feel like I've kind of burnt myself out of Minecraft now. But and as much as I
I
play
feel that.
Among Us, I wouldn't say it's like top there of my games, but I mean, look at my games. I have 800 hours in fucking Civilization 5, so obviously I love Civ 5. Star Trek Online, I played the shit out of that too. That
Yep.
game was fun, MMO and whatnot. But yeah, I kind of want to just like go through categories and kind of like see if we could like recommend games. I think it's kind of the gist of this podcast, kind of recommend games that we enjoy and whatnot. So there's like 49 genres total, so but like subgenres and stuff. So like our first genre is kind of like action games, and the first thing is like platformers. And the platformer that I have that comes to mind is Dig or Die. I don't know if you played that one, but that was a pretty fun story-based game.
Ooh, I think I have. Yeah, that's good fun.
Yeah, that's a pretty good like story based one. I think it doesn't take too long to play that one, but another platform that kind of comes to mind is Starbound. Have you played that at all?
I was actually looking at it, waiting for it to come on sale because it was looking really cool. Is that's the one? That's the space one, correct?
Hmm. Yeah, it's a space one. That's kind of a story game one too. The story's not super as immersive, but yeah, you can kind of fly around, go to different planets, and build like a little colony and stuff. So it's a pretty good one. Like if you like Minecraft, you probably like Starbound if you want to do like a platformer slash side
Ooh.
view kind of thing. But I guess I don't know if that's super like a platformer. Obviously, there's some games that fit into multiple categories, but yeah, that one kind of comes to me as a platformer. But shooters. Do you have any other platformers that you know? I'm not a super big platformer gamer, but
I don't play a lot of platform games, but I did find this really weird one called
mm,
Between Me and the Night. It's like kind of like an action adventure side scrolly game. Um, Basically, your character's walking the thin path between sanity and madness,
mm-hmm.
and basically you just walk around and explore and interact with this house, and
Right.
it just keeps getting fucking crazier and crazier as you go through. Stuff is changing,
Hmm.
and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Okay, that could be interesting.
It's very accurate of your reaction as you're going through this fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was another one that was very similar, but I can't remember the name of it at the moment. But that one's also fucking weird.
Yeah, I
Basically,
mean, I
you keep
liked.
going downstairs.
What kind of experience? Like, what are you looking for when you're playing a video game?
It depends, you know. It really depends on what I'm feeling. Sometimes I really enjoy a good, you know, action horror game. Sometimes I really enjoy like a nice calm strategy, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Other times I want to be an adventuring badass in cyberpunk and or whatever, role playing RPG.
Right. See, because I feel like what I'm looking for generally is immersion. I want something that's gonna fucking fully immerse me and like get me out of this world. That's
Oh,
why.
absolutely. I
That's
think that's a
why. Yeah.
very crucial point.
I think that's why like Subnautica and
Immersion and
Last of
aesthetic.
Us. Yeah. But I think like Subnautica and The Last of Us just have such good stories that it just really does immerse me. But I mean that's not what I'm looking for all the time, right? Like Among Us, you're not really getting immersed by fucking Among Us, but that's just something to like goof around and
Yeah,
like kill
right.
your friends and whatnot. But those are the games I like. The games that can really immerse me in their world, you know. And if I had VR, I think I'd totally be down into VR and whatnot. But
Oh, absolutely, dude.
obviously some games are fit both of these categories, but there's shooters is one. Like shooters, back in the day, I used to play like Counter Strike
Mm.
Condition Zero, and obviously you have Counter Strike, CS:GO now. But Counter Strike
Yep.
Go is kind of super competitive, way too competitive for me. Like I like games, but not something that's gonna be like super competitive. So, but
Right.
um,
I feel that, dude.
but kind of tacking into another one, shooters and stealth is also another action thing. So obviously, we
Mm.
were talking about playing Sniper Elite. I don't know if you ever got that, but obviously Sniper Elite kind of combines the two shooter and stealth games. You have like Hitman. That's always a good one. Just like stealthing around, kind of doing
Oh,
stuff.
yes, I have. I used to play the old Hitmans, and I have both Hitman, like the new 2016 or whatever,
Mhm.
and the second one.
Yeah.
Um, those two are pretty much like the same game, but they're they're both pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. The second one has actually a lot more content than I would have thought.
Yeah. It's fun to just like sneak around and I don't know. I kind of like find the stealth games pretty fun, which obviously I've been doing that in The Last of Us too recently, trying to stealth around. So
Right.
obviously, I don't know. Have you played
So
Escape from Tarkov? I've heard a lot about it, and I heard it's like really immersive, but I haven't really. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of grinding to
I've
me.
heard some really good stuff about it. It's not super grindy. It's more like towards I've heard more like uh like a battle royale ish type.
Yeah, kind of
Um
like
but
PUBG.
but instead of getting yeah, and but instead of getting to the center from the circle, you're trying to get out of the area.
Hmm.
which which is kind of like a new, fresh game mechanic because instead of just trying to get in the circle and kill everybody, you're just trying to find the right, um, extraction point
Right.
and whatever you need to do to get that extraction point to go.
Hmm. Well, kind of think about like PUBG. While we're on the subject of PUBG, man, I had a fuck ton of fun in that game. But I found the best way to win that game is just to like. It didn't matter what kind of gear you had. You just fucking find a corner that you hope's gonna be in the middle of the circle, and you just fucking sit there for the whole game. And you maybe, if you can find silencer, that's great. But you probably end up killing like one or two people. And I got the chicken dinner a few times in that game just by fucking sitting in a corner. That's the best way to win that game.
Wow.
Because if you're out in if you get caught in the
That's
open, you get fucked. You don't know where you're getting shot from, and that could be game real quick. So,
right. You could get dropped before you even know it.
well, I playing with groups suck too, because it's like if they die, they like guilt trip you into stopping the game and whatnot. But if you're by yourself, you can just kind of rapid fire the games a little bit more, which is always a little bit better, I think. But groups just seemed
Right.
harder. Like usually your teammate would give you away where you're at, Whereas if you're by yourself, you can just like stealth around and not get noticed as much. And fun in that game too. It's always fun to like find a good bush. If you always find a good bush, you just hide in the bush. I've had so many times where I just hide in a bush. Somebody just walks like right next to me, doesn't even notice me. And you just fucking pop them. Oh, that's always good. But
Good old hiding in the bush, man.
yeah,
Effective in many games.
yeah. Next we got like fighting. I mean, there's a lot. Fighting's pretty general. And beat 'em up games. Beat 'em up. The only thing that comes to mind for me like beat 'em up is like Super. No, what's Super Smash Bros. Kind of like beat 'em up. I think, right? Not really sure what beat 'em
I
up
think,
entails,
or
but
like, have you ever played like the Batman games, like the Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham Knight and Arkham Origins?
mm-mm. Like what's that? What does it
Those
entail?
are basically, or how about the new Spider-Man game? Have you played the new Spider-Man game?
I haven't played the new one, but I played one of the older ones where you just like what go around the city and whatnot and like beat up some bitches.
Yeah, yeah. If you played the old Spider-Man game, that was essentially an old school beat 'em up.
Okay,
It was
gotcha.
basically trying to take the idea of a two-dimensional fighting game like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter and turn it into a three-dimensional plane, and the
Hmm.
result was pure hilarity chaos.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really play a lot. Fighting, it kind of defines fighting as like hand to hand combat stuff, like Mortal Kombat and stuff. But I never really played too many of those games. So,
I didn't play a lot of like Street Fighter. I played a little bit of Mortal Kombat, not a lot
do you ever
to
play
know
Gang Beasts?
anything.
Gang Beasts is obviously comes to mind. Gang Beasts is kind of a lot of fun. But
Gang Beast was
did you
fun.
ever play
I
that in high
also
school
did
with
play,
us? Remember in high school we'd like
yeah, a
we
couple
had
times.
seminar or whatever. We'd all have our controllers. We just play fucking yeah, play some Gang Beasts in the morning. Oh, that was fun because that was the best place to get people together to play Gang
Yo,
Beasts on the computer. Aiden would bring his computer, which is always
it
pretty
really
fun. But
was.
yeah,
There was also Super Smash Bros. Played the shit out of Super Smash Bros. In the very same school in the choir room. We actually had um Super Smash Bros. Tournaments.
oh okay, yeah, I didn't know that. I always like Lucario. I thought was always a fun one, but I was never like amazing at those games. But
Oh yeah, I was totally trash, but it gave me an excuse to play video games during school.
just mash a bunch of buttons. Yeah, I played video games a lot during school. I feel like way more than other people got away with, but I was kind of a teacher's pet, so I got away with that a little bit more, just like being able to play video games. Like study hall, I had study hall with I don't even remember her name. It was one of the Spanish teachers, but she was like, "Hey, he's not bugging anybody, so just let him play his video games back there." I'd play like Civ and shit mostly. This is pretty fun. And like Risk, I have like Risk 2 on Steam, which you can't even find on Steam anymore. Risk 2 is fun because it's just Risk, but it like shows you the battles, so it shows you like shooting them and stuff, like each other and stuff in them, which is
Oh,
pretty
that's
fun. So
cool.
yeah, like pretty high depth. But okay, we got survival. Survival games. Obviously, we're
Ooh,
playing Raft right now, so Raft is. I
there's
mean,
so
cause
many games.
yeah, there's a lot of games, but I mean, Raft is kind of a hard one considering how many times we die or we just fucking suck. I mean, I don't really know the difference, but
Yeah,
try to think. Have you played Freeman Guerrilla Warfare? That's kind of like a shooter, kind of survival stuff, but It's interesting because it's like third person and first persons. Like you can build up an army and then you give
Ooh,
them orders and stuff, but then you actually fight alongside them and like give them orders and stuff. And that game's a lot of fun. And they
ooh.
actually release updates.
What's it called?
Freeman Guerrilla Warfare. They haven't released an update
That
for a while,
sounds
but
awesome.
yeah, they did add like vehicles and tanks and stuff, which is pretty interesting. But they didn't update it since July 2nd of last year. But they had like some
Uh,
maps and weather and artillery. But it's still fun in its current state for sure. But you always get better. Do you have any other like big like survival games that you like? Oh, Colony Survival's an interesting one because you have to make like your whole colony. Like I played that occasionally. That was pretty fun. Have to make like your whole colony and feed your people and whatnot, which is interesting. But
uh, yep. And there's always good old Minecraft, you know.
well, we already talked about Minecraft.
But I mean,
I
I
feel
have
like I
over
don't
200
understand.
hours.
Yeah, I don't understand how people are not burnt out at Minecraft by this point. It's been around for so long. I just don't get it.
I know it's like grappled onto the next generation.
Yeah.
Like now, kids who are like younger than us, like Minecraft was probably around before they were even conceived, are playing Minecraft. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah. We didn't touch on this too. Star Wars Squadrons. We played for a little while, but I feel like I got burnt out of that game pretty quick.
Mm.
Like it's still like fun, but I don't know. It gets kind of repetitive, and I'm not. It's kind of more of like a flight shooting simulator, but you know what I mean?
Well, I always have a good time in flight games. I grew up playing the Rebel Squadron or Rogue Squadron games. So you'd
Mm,
have like Rogue Squadron and Rebel Alliance and the two that came out on GameCube. I had a GameCube at the time. And
right.
those were awesome. So I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for like Star Wars flight shooters as well as
Gotcha.
flight simulators in general because I grew up with them. But
So yeah, I guess we
these,
didn't really talk about that because like when I was growing up, I had like a Nintendo DS, so obviously I played a fuck ton of Pokemon games. Like Platinum was my favorite. I had a Game Boy Color that was passed down from my brother, so I played like Pokemon Blue,
nice.
like the originals, which was a lot of fun. And like my first console besides like Nintendo was like PlayStation 3 or no PlayStation 2 is what I had. And they had like this old Navy SEAL game. That was a lot of fun playing that, but and then I think I
Oh,
moved to
nice.
PC. I don't know when I was like 12 or something, and then I never went back. I still have a Nintendo DS, and I play it occasionally. Or I guess a 3DS, but same difference really. So, did you have any other consoles as you were younger, or what were your main consoles?
Oh man, so I started out having the GameCube
Mm,
and begun my love for video gaming there. And then I got a little DS Color from one of my buddies so that I could plug and play a couple games split screen with it. Because the GameCube, some games you could have two controllers to, and you could use split screen. And other
right,
games, for some reason, they would make you plug in a damn Game Boy into it, which I
right.
thought was a very interesting little mechanic. But okay.
Yeah, that is
After
interesting.
that, I had a PS2
Hmm.
and got a whole bunch of hand-me-down games like GTA, Vice City, and San Andreas, and
Yeah.
SOCOM. Just like a handful of just random PS2 games.
Hmm.
Um, Till I finally got my
SOCOM, that
PS3.
was the Navy SEAL one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
you
think
had
that's the
like
one
your
I was
group
thinking
of
of.
guys. It was third person.
Yeah, I think that's what I was thinking of. SOCOM. SOCOM was a good game for sure. I never got that far in it because I was younger and I feel like I sucked at it, but yeah, that sounds good. My main appeal of the
Yeah.
Nintendo DS is like the Pokemon games, right? If you had a Game Boy, or you could play the
Oh,
Game
I
Boy games
forgot all
on the
about it. Right.
Nintendo, and you could just fucking like they have the national decks, right? So you can play through all the Pokemon games and collect all of them. Fuck me, that was the main appeal.
Yup.
I never did it. I never got that far, but yeah, just like getting all the way from Gen 1 Pokemon, that's like the fucking dream for sure. But yeah,
I
so anyway,
remember using hacker on the Game Boy, on the or not the
yeah.
Game Boy, the
The
Nintendo DS.
Yeah, what was that called? I didn't remember that too. You just like plugged it in and then plugged the games in there. I'd use it with Pokemon. You have like
Yep,
all
yep. It's
shinies and
like in
shit.
between, and you could like Yeah, like
Hmm.
evolve all Pokemon or some shit.
Yeah. Did you know? Okay, a little subtopic here. I was reading this new article on Facebook, okay, and I thought this was very interesting. So apparently, in Japan, it's illegal to hack games or sell hacked goods. So I guess this guy was hacking in Pokemon, and Pokemon, I think it was Sun and Moon, the new one, right? Or maybe it's Sword and Shield.
Uh
Sword
huh.
and Shield. He was hacking into Pokemon, and he was selling them for like $30 to like his coworkers, so he got fucking arrested for selling hacked
Holy
Pokemon.
shit!
Yeah, and
Wow.
I was like, that's actually like, I'm actually could get on board with that because hackers fucking blow anyway. But especially if you're using it for like personal gain for something you just hacked in. Like I'd be like, I'm kind of on
Right.
board with that. But that's interesting law that Japan has. Like you can't. I don't know if it's like you just can't hack games or you can't like sell hacked goods. I think they have it where you can't hack at all, which is interesting for sure. But
Well, I mean, who's gonna care if you like hack a single player game and you're like just cheating for yourself? But I'm
well,
sure
yeah, and I'm
like
sure
when
they're
you go
not. Yeah,
online, right,
I'm sure they're
or
not
like
breaking
I
down
know
laws
there
on
was a
that.
big old problem with like people selling like aimbots and stuff for competitive gaming. So that
Yeah,
might be them trying to clamp down on some of that too.
probably. I don't know. I thought that was interesting, but anyway, we're gonna switch topics here real quick. The next genre is rhythm. Rhythm games. The only one that it really lists is
Really?
DDR and Guitar Hero. Fuck, I used to love Guitar Hero. I had that with my
DDR?
dude Guitar Hero. I got
Yeah,
so good.
bro.
I got good on medium. I couldn't do like the fifth color, but I could do like up to blue. I couldn't incorporate the orange. But I remember this one time I walked in on my cousin playing Guitar Hero, and he was doing it on hard mode. He was really good, and my brother was like, "Will, can you do it like not even looking at the screen?" So he like flipped around and tried to do it, and like he fucked up real quick, like not looking at the screen. But it was fucking hilarious just watching him do that. But and then I used to play DDR
That's
quite a
so
bit too, because they had like that mat you could plug into the PlayStation as well. And I remember in elementary
right.
school, one of my teachers had the mat and had DDR, so he'd bring it in if we had like some downtime. We played DDR, and I think I told this story on stream before, but I think it was a while ago. I actually convinced the teacher to let me take the mat home and the game home for the weekend so I could practice. So I took it home and I got really good on that weekend. Mostly girls just want to have fun, got good with that song, dancing to that. But yeah, I came back on Monday and we played some
Most
DDR, and I fucking impressed all my classmates with how good I was at DDR. But the impression only lasted for like a few minutes, then everybody forgot about it. But I was like, fuck, I was so good at DDR that day. I was crushing DDR. But yeah, I practiced all weekend.
crushing it, dude.
And it's funny because we lived in a condo at the time, so I was on like the loft. My room was in the loft. I had the whole loft to myself. My mom like was downstairs, and I was just like fucking banging and like jumping around upstairs. She's like, "Fucking, what are you doing up there?" Play DDR, mom. I'm getting into it. This is fucking intense.
DDR.
Yeah, I was in like hard mode in
Do you
DDR.
understand me?
Yeah, it was fucking great, but yeah. Anyway, next genre is action adventure games, and then I guess that's like subtopics of that is like survival horror, which of course is like The Last of Us is like survival horror. It says Resident Evil. I never really
Great.
played Resident Evil. Did you ever play any of that game or?
I did. I played a little bit of them, like some of the older ones. I also played Silent Hill. Terrifying as hell, super mind fucky, very psychological.
Mhm.
Um, Also, Alien Isolation, super awesome horror game. A little bit more modern. If you like the Alien series, that's a great one.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I don't really know a ton of other
Outlast,
horrors. A few, but
good.
there's like what's that one that you were just talking about the other day? That's kind of like the 2D like cartoony graphics. That has single player first. It just got multiplayer. You know what I'm talking about? What game is that? Survival horror? Do you know?
Oh, what was I talking
Don't starve. Don't starve. Don't starve together. That's what I'm thinking of.
about?
That's kind
Don't
of like survival horror ish.
Starve.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, and it's very that's very macabre and gives me like a Tim Burton-y feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very interesting one. But Survival horror is not something I super play. Like again, Subnautica. Obviously, a lot of games fall into a lot of categories, so survival horror would kind of be Subnautica as well. But
Mm-hmm.
the next game we have is Metroidvania is the subgenre. I don't really know that one. Inspired by Metroid and
Oh.
Castlevania. Metroidvania type games are basic action adventure games, but aren't linear enough to require that the player backtrack or is kept from progressing until they find a specific item or special tool. Oh, you know what game I just think of? I saw my brother play it a lot, and I haven't played it a lot, but it's like the dungeon, like you have to progress through the dungeons with like different characters. The Binding of Isaac. That's what I'm thinking of. That would be
Oh
like a
yes, that's an
Metroidvania game.
excellent game. I have that, and it's one of the best like $7 I spent. It's
Best
hard
$7
at
ever.
points, but it's still fun.
The best $7 I ever spent was probably on a venti pumpkin spice latte. So 10 out of 10 would recommend the pumpkin spice latte.
Oof,
Mm. Yeah, I'm a white
oof.
girl. Mm-hmm. Do like myself some of that. Adventure games. I feel like adventure games is kind of like I don't know. There's a lot of adventure games out there. I don't have any that like super like strike out of mind to me though. I don't know if you have any adventure games.
I mean, other than like circling back to ye old Skyrim and
Mm.
Elder Scrolls of like, um,
Skyrim falls into a fuck ton of categories. I feel
Wolfenstein.
like, but
That's more like an action. I love me some Wolfenstein and Doom. Those good old classic id.
mm-hmm. Barrow Trauma. I was telling you about Barrow Trauma the other day, which is another game you probably like. We need to get you some more games, so we can stream some more games for sure. But Barrow Trauma
Oh
is
yeah.
kind of that can kind of go under adventure and survival horror, where you have Barrow Trauma. I don't think a lot of people know what Barrow Trauma is, so I'll kind of give a brief rundown of that. But it's like you're on an alien planet, and you're in a submarine. It's kind of like a 2D style game, but it has a lot of. It's kind of like open world as well, right? So you can go exploring around stuff, but you can also have like specific missions going between outposts and stuff. So you can go like collect resources, or you can go like kill some creatures and stuff. And it's horror based because like the creatures can like bust into your submarine and stuff, and like these hideous fucking creatures that'll try and kill you and whatnot. And you only have limited vision generally. And then you also have like flashlights and stuff, so you go out to like explore wreckage, and then you just get your fucking face you go around a corner, just like a creature will just like fucking swamp you and attack you and whatnot. So it's a pretty interesting one. I highly recommend that to anybody who hasn't played it before. And the reason I like it too is because they have a very in depth medical system. So like they have like medications, like if somebody overdoses on opioids, you can give them like Narcan, or if you give them too much morphine, you can give them some Narcan, like kind of counteract that and stuff. So I really like the being a doctor in that and having all that stuff. But you text adventures. The only one I know, the only text adventure I think I've ever played is Emily is Away. Have you ever played that game?
Emily is
It's like a free
yeah.
game,
Oof.
and you can kind of
Oof.
like, yeah, it's like such decisions you can make, and it
It's
kind of
like
like goes through your life stuff. But
2002 AOL shit.
yeah, it's not a
Like
very fun
it's
game, and I
really
lost
well
interest pretty quickly.
written.
But is it? I got lost interest in it, but because I don't know, I need something with more action.
It's
I
a
feel like,
heart
but
wrencher.
yeah,
Yeah, it's slow going, but oh, text. Good old
mm,
Oregon Trail.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed the shit out of Oregon Trail
Well,
back
I
in the
have been
day.
playing. Fuck, what's the game I've been playing recently on my phone where it's like kind of like D&D. It's like a text adventure game, but you can kind of do whatever you want, right? So it's like a role playing game, and it can give you like a
Oh,
specific category.
interesting.
And I can't remember what the fucking name of it is now, but it's a lot of fun. I've been doing that like at work because you can just kind of do like whatever. You just throw whatever character and you just do whatever the fuck you want. And I can't think of what the name of it is. The Yoggles cast were doing some videos on it recently. That were pretty funny, but the name might come to me. I'll have to look it up, but. Point graphic adventures, point and click games. I don't really know point and click games. You know any good point and click games? I know
Um,
they used to have like
yes, I'm trying to remember
they used to
what
have like
they're
that
called.
CSI game. You ever do like the CSI game? They had it on like DS.
Oh yeah, like the
Where you had to
solving
like
the
solve, you had to like find like clues and stuff, and you could like click into that and whatnot. That's the other thing that really comes up to mind for me for
yeah.
point and clicks. I'm gonna find this fucking game. This text adventure I'm thinking of, but it's gonna take me a second. So, that's the thing I can think of. And it has visual novels, which when I think of the visual novels, I think of like Dream Daddy Simulator and like those fucking weird
Animated
ass
stuff,
games,
yeah.
you know. I don't know. Those ones are kind of weird too, but do you know of any other like visual novels? Like, I don't think there's any. I don't know. Visual novels is not something I would definitely be into, but
Honestly, the only ones that I can, or the only one singular that I can think that would be worth mentioning, um,
AI Dungeon is what I'm thinking of. You can get it on your phone. It's free, and
oh,
you can just do
AI
like a whole bunch
Dungeon.
of
Yes,
yeah. That's
I
really cool.
have that actually. Yeah, that's good stuff. It's
Mhm.
yeah, you just do whatever the fuck you want. Um,
Yeah. Well, anyway, if you're not coming anything to mind, but it has like interactive movie, which I don't know anything like that, and then real time
interactive
3D. I
movie.
don't really know anything about that either. But interactive movie, like
Yeah.
pre-filmed live action or animation sequences, you kind of do like where you go down it.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
I
we
think
did some of those
like
in
they're
like
kind
high
of like the old
school.
school.
I think in high school we had like one or two of
Yeah.
those, but fuck, they sucked dick. All right, role playing games, action RPG. I mean, Coder is obviously, I think, a really good action RPG because you're playing that now, aren't you?
Yep, you got covered.
Yeah, because I tried
Yep.
to stream it, but the graphics are so old that I couldn't get it in 1920 by 1080, and like my streaming software wouldn't even recognize it as a game, so I didn't end up being able to stream it. But I did try to stream it on Saturday. I didn't fucking do anything there, but
Wow.
yeah, I know, very disappointing. I did kind of want to stream Coder, but it's just too old of a game. It just doesn't want to work with me. So, you know any other action RPGs? Obviously, Coder. If you guys don't know what that is, Knights of the Republic is a really good, like, I think one of the best action RPGs out there. You kind of start as just a lowly knight, or yeah, you have a few different classes you can start with, but you always end up becoming a Jedi and whatnot. But that's a really pretty good story game too, and that one gets pretty
Yeah.
difficult as well. But it's your first playthrough, right? So I don't want to give away too many details of that, but it has like a story, and you have like a few different planets you can visit. And you don't have to do a specific order or anything, but it's kind of harder. It definitely gets harder, right? So if you visit some planets, you kind of want to visit first because they're harder. If you don't, there's like the Sith Academy planet. I don't remember which one that is. I don't know if that's Coda or Coda 2. I was gonna stop talking because I don't remember that much about which ones are Coda and which ones are Coda 2. So, but MMOs, obviously, there's a fuck ton of MMOs. Like I said, I played a ton of Star Trek Online, which is a lot of fun, I think, because you guys start, there's a level progression system, but you can have like your custom fleets. You can have all the ships from the movies, or you can have your like custom ships from whatever, and it's all
Right.
like pretty canon and whatnot, and kind of relive some of the adventures and whatnot, which I always thought was fun. But obviously, there's a lot of MMOs out there. Uh, yeah, World of Warships, which I play a lot of World of Warships, or I used to anyway. Just because you can have a whole bunch of different ships
Yeah.
and whatnot, so that's a good one. But I think you played a
And
little bit of
World of
that, didn't you?
Warcraft, that one is still chugging.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, dude, I played more World of Warships than
I
World of
definitely, yeah,
Warcraft.
I definitely lost a few months in World of Warcraft. Did you ever watch that South Park episode where they're playing World of Warcraft and they're trying to like beat this dude so they have to kill a fuck ton of boars? And he's just like sitting there, he's just like fucking chugging
Yeah.
away, and he's like, "Mom, bathroom!" So he like brings down a little porta potty, and just like fucking
Bathroom.
shits all over her, like trying to get it in there. And they get super fat while they're doing it, and they finally beat the dude after like I think weeks of like playing the game.
Yeah,
And they're
give
like,
me more snacks and Cheetos.
yeah, and afterwards they beat him, and they're like, "What do we do now?" They're like, "Well, we play the game now. What are you talking about?" They're like, "Oh,
What are you talking
yeah,
about?
hmm
Good shit.
good shit." There's a lot of
I love South
MMOs,
Park.
but there's a lot of MMOs, but there's not a lot of good MMOs. I would say,
That's
they're getting
correct.
better. Most games are MMOs now, but a lot of like older ones were fucking horrid. I feel like, but I don't know. MMO. I think when I think of MMO, I think of like something that has like 100 people in it or something. But
Yeah.
Uh, there's also like Eve Online. Do you ever play like Eve Online? I think that's what I'm thinking
I've seen so many ads for it. It looks cool. It reminds me of Star Citizen.
of. that's what I'm thinking of. I think that's the one where it has like the whole Milky Way galaxy in it. Like you could explore the whole galaxy. Like
Yeah.
the only a small part of it's actually colonized. So like you could actually go to planets that none of the other players have been to before. That's how fucking big the galaxy is, which is fucking
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And obviously it's like AI. No, Elite Dangerous. That's what I'm thinking of. Elite Dangerous is the one that has it.
Ooh,
All.
Elite Dangerous is cool. I have that one. In fact, they're releasing a really massive DLC,
Mhm.
which is allowing you to get out of your ship and deal with enemies and like go find cool shit on the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's
Yeah, it looks
one
really
that
cool, honestly.
that definitely has a lot of planets and whatnot, so you can just explore, be a miner, or so much past you could take. So that's a good one. I kind of lost interest in that one
Oh
too,
yeah,
just because I
a
don't know. I
space
just
pirate.
didn't do that. Yeah, I don't know. I lost interest in that one
Oh
too,
yeah,
but
Elite Dangerous Odyssey. That's the secret. That's what I think. I think they really needed to release Odyssey because people were starting to lose interest because it does get very grindy
yeah, it
without,
definitely does.
you
But
know, being able to go down and like land and drive around and shoot at stuff.
I was just scrolling through my games list, and there's a couple games that I just have thought I didn't think about. So obviously, if you played Factorio, Factorio is obviously like a 2D factory building game.
Ooh, I wanted that. I've been wanting that one for a while. That one looks really cool.
That one's really fun. It gets kind of grindy after a while, just like building these huge factories. But you can make like drones, like make everything for you. But the reason I bring up Factorio is like Factorio is obviously a lot of fun, and I do enjoy making the huge factories and stuff. But it gets a little grindy after a while, which is kind of lost interest. But there's this game I kind of been following for a while, and still a pretty small game. They do. It looks like they have been releasing updates and stuff, so I might look back into it. But it's called
Is it
Evo Space.
Satisfactory?
No,
Oh,
not Satisfactory.
Evo.
This is a lot smaller game. It's not a very major game, I don't think. But it's called Evo Space. But it's kind of like Factorio, but it's first person view. It's not quite to the scale of Satisfactory. It's like Minecraft and Factorio combined. So you kind of make like these factories like up
Ooh.
close and stuff, but not quite like Satisfactory. Like it's a lot. It's more in depth like Factorio is. Satisfactory kind of skips. I feel like a lot of like um the grindiness that Factorio has. Evo Space, I'd highly recommend to anybody to support
Yeah,
like a
that does
small
look
game.
really awesome.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
really
looking at it
fun
right
game,
now.
but it looks like they're releasing updates, not like super consistently, but they are releasing updates. And that one, it kind of has like a goal of like a where you want to reach and whatnot. But it only came out. Oh, actually, fuck it. It didn't even come out that long ago. It came out
2019.
February of 2019. So it's been out for about a year. And I think it's still early access. It looks like, but yeah, they that game is definitely a lot of fun. And fuck, I even forgot that game existed until I was just scrolling through my games and whatnot. So that's one I might have to play. Maybe I could stream that one. That one's an interesting one to kind of see where that goes. But it's kind of like Minecraft, but just with factory elements. So
Is it
that's what
multiplayer?
when I played it last time, it was not. But I don't know. It might be now. I haven't played it in a long time. I feel like so. Also, there's another game I want to bring up. Do you play? I guess we're kind of skipping ahead here to simulation games. But that's fine. We're skipping on the simulation. And there's vehicle simulation, which I want to go over. Do you ever play? Obviously, you talk about Mud Runner and Snow Runner's out. Snow Runner's a really good game for like off-roading simulator and
Yeah.
mostly log hauling and whatnot, which is what I got out of it. But BeamNG Drive is one that they haven't updated in a while, or not with anything significant. But that game, if you just want something where
Good
really
goofy
like,
fun.
yeah, well, it's the most realistic I think with like how car crashes work and whatnot, and you can do like different, you can do off roading in that game and stuff. But I like doing police chases in that one because it just has like the realistic driving and crashes and fuck that game is a lot of fun too, especially for off roading as well. But I don't
And
know,
it's
I think it's
hard.
good.
It's hard.
It
You
is.
can totally smash your vehicle up, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, well, it's not really. It doesn't have a goal with it. It's just a simulator, right? So you can just kind of do like police chases and like a whole bunch of other stuff, but there's no actual goal to be Minji Drive. You just spawn and stuff and just fuck around. So, but
I think they actually did add a little campaign. They added like a little itty bitty camp, like a
oh really?
going through Utah one. Yeah.
Interesting. Might have to look into that again. Obviously, Battlefield. We kind of skipped over Battlefield earlier because I used to play Battlefield 2 a lot, which also you can't get
Oh,
on
yep. I
Steam
played
anymore.
Battlefield 1942. That was good shit.
Yeah, you can't get that on Steam anymore, unfortunately. But Battlefield 2, I used to play that a lot. And I was telling you, if anybody still has Battlefield 2, this is a really good mod pack called AIX, which just kind of improves a lot of mechanics in the game. And it adds just like a whole bunch more vehicles, adds like zip lines and a whole bunch of like cool shit. But and then also, if I don't know if you ever played Arma either. Arma is another good like
Oh,
military
yes.
shooter game. My
I
brother
have
picked me
almost
that.
all of them,
Arma was like
if not all of them.
a little too much for me. I feel like Arma's overpowering with how much it has though. Like there's so many hotkeys and there's so much you can do in that game that I kind of was just like had to step away from
Yeah,
Arma. But
it is a lot, but at the same time, it's you have so much freedom.
yeah,
Once you do learn it, you can really you can do literally anything.
well that's why I that was too much for me. I need like a set goal. That's why I can't do a lot of these games that just like throw you in there. It's like here you can do whatever you want. I was like, well, I don't know what I want. I don't know what I want. I just want some ice cream and for you to tell me which direction to go. But
Yeah, who to kill.
yeah, like Ark Survival.
Kill
Yeah,
Medal of
like just going
Honor.
through my games. There's a lot of games that I haven't played recently, but I used to play a lot. Ark is amazing. Ark is very grindy as well, though. You get your dinosaurs, you capture all the dinosaurs, and if you want like the babies, you have to spend like literal like tens of real life hours like fucking training up babies until they're adults and grown up, which is fucking crazy, but it is a lot
Damn.
of fun anyway. Yeah, I don't know if you have never tried to make get babies and stuff in Ark. That takes forever, but it is still a really fun game. But I don't know, kind of going away. I kind of just like going through my
I
games
have
library right now, so it's tough. But
good old. Have you ever played Guns of Icarus?
I have. That was a fun one because that's the multiplayer one. I played that with Aiden and Michael a lot, where you have like your own little blimp and whatnot, and go shoot the enemies and whatnot. That was a pretty fun game for sure. Have they updated that recently? I know they
Yeah, I've
updated
got
it
that one too.
a little while ago, but there's also
Oh yeah.
one that we played recently that's very similar to that, and it's called. I'm gonna have to find it in my games library. I think it started with an A. I'll have to find it.
Alliance?
No, I'll have to find and get back to you on that. Another game I just saw is 7 Days to Die, which is a good like zombie kind of
7 Days
survival
to
game. But
Die. That's good stuff. It's kind of like Minecraft mixed with like horde survival.
yeah, I don't remember what this game is called, but I'll let you know as soon as I find it because we did play that quite a bit. But it's kind of like one where you can custom build your ship, right? But you get more like you can only build your ship so big until you kind of like level up and collect. You have to collect resources from around the map and kind of like do quests and stuff until you can get like a bigger ship. But that was a pretty good one. Again, I'm not good at anything that's like custom building. Like Stormworks is another one where you can build up. That's like a search and rescue game, which I love the concept of that. I love being able to like search and rescue and like have custom vehicles. Like I would love to make custom vehicles, but I am an idiot and I just can't quite put in the time and effort to make a whole fucking like aircraft carrier with like all my vehicles on there because
Right.
designing it and actually building it takes like fucking tens of hours again of your real life to make like a functional amazing fucking ship. Same with like From the Depths, same concept. You can make like submarines or like ships and whatnot, but that one's more like a battle simulator. But like, fuck me, like it takes forever to make shit. I just can't get it on board with that. But I don't know. I'm just gonna go through my games library now with like all the best games. Like Astroneer. Did you ever play Astroneer?
Yes, that one's actually good fun. I don't have it in my library currently, but that one's one of my favorites.
Yeah, because that's like a space, obviously, like kind of building and whatnot, and kind of all that good shit. So
It's like Space Engineers Light.
yeah, Space Engineers. Fuck me, dude. I would totally be down to play that game again too, because he updates it. It's like one dude, isn't it, that built that whole game? And like he updates it
I
like
don't
every
even
fucking month.
know, but
I think
he
it
was
is. It's like
incredible.
one dude that designed the whole game, and he keeps updating it. Yeah, that's a really good one too, where you can custom design. Again, I like the concept. in the freedom of it to just build whatever you want. But on paper, it sounds amazing. But I'm just not creative enough. Usually, my space stations end up like a block, just like a straight fucking box, and you like park your stuff in there, and
I'm like, oh well, I'm done.
it just takes
Got it.
too long
Job complete.
to build stuff. Like I remember I played with the planets because they have the planets now, right? So I was on the planet and I built like this huge.
Really? Oh, sweet.
Oh yeah, if you haven't played the planets, it's amazing. Like they have creatures and everything. Like they have wolves that will come attack you and shit. Like obviously they have different planets, but you can start like Earth or Mars or whatnot. But I was building. I built like this huge rover, and it had like this huge uh tunnel like digging thing to get resources, right? So you build that, and it would dig into the ground. You just like park it somewhere and get you a fuck ton of resources, and it worked really well. But then like I spent like 20 hours making this huge fucking rover, collecting resources manually to build this, and I'm just like, fuck me, I'm wasting so much time in my life right now to make like this shit that I just like lose interest with how much effort and fucking time it takes, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
Company of Heroes. We obviously were playing Company of Heroes 2 recently, but I used to play the original Company of Heroes. And Tales of Valor is a really good story one that you can kind of play through, but the AI just kind of fucking blow in that game, so that's kind of why I stopped playing that. But you know what I mean? Some of those you just kind of get bored of eventually,
Yeah.
right? I'm trying to remember what this fucking game I was thinking of where you can play through it. And I know we played it for a while, but Forts is kind of a 2D game that we've been playing recently too. Kind of a newer one. It's pretty fun. Fractured Space. I don't think Fractured Space is actually still a thing anymore. Yeah, Fractured Space I think got
I
shut down, but
really, I actually have that one in my Steam library still.
yeah, I do too. I have it in my Steam library. I think the servers got shut down. That one was a lot of fun in that Fractured Space was like another space one where you have like 5 people on each team and you have like special roles and whatnot. That was a lot of fun. I guess that could be related to like Star Wars Squadrons, kind of vaguely. Um, Far Cry is always a good one. Evolve Stage 2, that one is also a good one that I used to play for a while that got shut down. So Evolve Stage 2 was you have one person who plays a monster, and like you get better monsters like as you played them and like ranked up and whatnot. Um,
Uh huh.
verse I think it was 4 people, so you had like a hunter and a tracker, like 4 different rolled people. So that was a really interesting one, right? Because you have
Mm.
5 players, but one person's the monster, and then you have 4 people trying to hunt them down. And the hunter is usually one most of the time, and it
Wow.
was really hard to play the monster. The monster you kind of had to strategize, you had to run away, and you had like different abilities based on what you were. And I think that's why it got shut down though, because it was like too unbalanced and really hard to play the monster and whatnot. But there's another one I just
Sounds
glossed.
about accurate.
Yeah, there's another one I just glanced over that got shut down. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like the one where you had like dinosaurs, like a survival dinosaur game. There was like 5 people, and the dinosaurs would kind of like attack you in waves and whatnot. I can't remember what the name of that one is,
That
but
sounds very familiar.
yeah, I do. I glanced over it, and I can't remember what the fuck it was called. But if I see it again, I'll mention it. I'll call it out. But no, I'm not seeing it now. But yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but Far Cry, obviously Far Cry is pretty good, but Far Cry gets very repetitive.
Gotta love life.
Shoot,
Oh,
shoot stuff, blow stuff up. Like it's kind of one of those absurd games where you just go around and just fucking kill a bunch of shit. But
pretty much. Oh, I found that 2D side scroller game that I was trying to remember earlier. It's called Never Ending Nightmares.
oh,
Um, basically, it's black and white 2D, and it puts you in control of a kid who is awakened by a terrible dream.
hmm,
Um, basically, deciding that living through his nightmare in which he murders his sister is not enough, Thomas sets out to explore the mysterious house, and the game's quality quickly escalates from there.
gotcha, gotcha,
Basically, you just keep going downstairs, and it gets crazier and crazier.
gotcha. Orion
There's
Prelude is what I was thinking
another.
of. Orion Prelude is the one where you had like the
Mhm.
dinosaurs and you survive in like waves and stuff, and it was pretty hard. But
Yeah.
yeah, that one's shut down too. A lot of games that just they didn't have enough players, so they just had to shut them down. But Also, I just scrolled over Kerbal Space Program. Fuck me, that's amazing. And they're coming out with Kerbal Space Program 2,
Oh, good stuff.
which was
Hard.
supposed to be released last year, but because of COVID, it got pushed back. So hopefully it'll be released. I think they pushed it back to 2022, unfortunately. But that's supposed to have multiplayer, so I'm really looking forward to that. Again, I like it, but
Right.
another game where you have to spend a lot of time building rockets and shit. Like if I just had
And
like,
you don't have
yeah,
direction.
yeah. But that one, I don't know. The space, I like a lot of space games, and that one I can kind of get into. That's the game where I will spend the time to actually build ships and like try and make it to the moon
Oh,
because it's
yeah.
like so realistic. And I think with they have multiplayer, that's definitely a game we're gonna have to stream because that game is fucking really dope. But I don't think,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, and they haven't really released a lot of details on what's gonna be wholly encompassed into that game. You know, of like what's gonna be how the multiplayer stuff's gonna work. But I'm interested to see how that works. So.
Right.
Yeah, do you ever play My Summer Car? I just scrolled over that one too.
My summer car. Oh, why is that ringing so many
Dude, that
bells?
one's amazing. That's like I think it's like a Swedish game or like a Finnish game or something like that, where you just like mostly a dude who like you have to drink, like stay hydrated and stuff, but like you build a car from like scratch
Oh,
up, and it's supposed to be like realistic of how you'd actually build a car in real life. So, but you have like a van, you have to like go get parts and stuff, and I usually crash and die just in the van. Like the driving of that is like absurd, but also
oh,
MMOs.
that's cool.
I just scrolled over Naval Action, which is really good, like open world, like sea based. Like you start with like pirate ships, like you start with a little dinghy, and it's PvP, and you have to like
Ooh.
make your way up. You have to like claw your way up to like better ships and stuff. That one's really good too, and you can have like fleets, like you can have like several different ships in your fleet by yourself, and then you can also have guilds, right? So you can have a guild member, so you can have multiple players, and you can have multiple ships, and you can capture other people's ships and stuff, which is really fun. That game takes forever to sail places though.
Yeah.
Like if you want to sail between places, it takes forever, but still a lot of good fun. But and it's very like realistic, right? So like, basically you have a map and a compass, and you gotta figure out where to get places. So you're like, oh, I gotta go so many degrees
Figure it
west
out.
this way, and you're like, fuck, I don't know, it might take me a fucking hour and a half to fucking sail across the ocean. Like if you want to go from Britain to America, it's gonna take you a long
And
time to sail
hopefully
across
go in
the
the right
ocean.
direction.
Yeah, it would take that. It would take you like I don't
That
know,
sounds
like
so cool.
30 minutes or so. That's a long. That's a fun one, but it just takes so long to like travel between places, and it's so realistic. But I do really like that one too. But I'd be down to play that one again too. But Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit. Hot Pursuit was a really good one. They just remastered Hot Pursuit too, so you can play that where your friends can be like racers. You can be like the cops and like
Oh,
get each other.
really?
Yeah, they remastered. I haven't looked at
That
the
was
remaster to
good
it, but
one. That was one I actually had on the GameCube.
that one, yeah, like, but not many people play it anymore. Like, if you have a couple friends, you can play that one. That one I highly recommend too. But No Man's Sky is pretty good too. That's kind of a story-based one, but again, that one I just think I got
It was terrible
overwhelmed.
at launch, but they made it better.
What's that?
It was terrible at launch, but they made it better.
Yeah, I think that's another one. I was just overwhelmed by how much you could do and like how many planets you could explore and whatnot. But fuck, dude, I have so many games in my fucking library that I'm just
Right.
going through, but a lot of them I just don't. You know, a lot of them I haven't played or I don't really play anymore. Sid Meier's Starships is a game that offered a lot because it was like tablet. It was like kind of a 5-5 of ships, and it just like never went anywhere. I played that one in high school for a little while, and I was very disappointed because like it launched, it was fun at first, but they never updated it, and they never added multiplayer or anything. So I was
Oh,
very
I hate
disappointed
that
by
game.
it. But it promised a lot, and it just didn't deliver. I felt like, but it was good to kill. Like it says here, I played 10 hours of it, so it's not like I played a ton of it because it was a very repetitive game. But yeah, I have a whole bunch of other games we can kind of go through, but we're kind of getting close to that hour mark of where we need to end. So I'm gonna turn on chat, but then if you have any games that you want to kind of glance over, but Michael was
well,
in chat. He was saying Interplanetary was the best $7 spent, and I fucking love Interplanetary. He is so
ooh,
salty that he fucking gets so salty in that game. I streamed that game once, It took like an hour and a half, but that one's a lot of fun too. But hi, Psycho. I don't know if you're still in here, but saying hi to you now. So looks like Master Builder's in chat too, but saying hi to everybody. But Air Planter, I fucking love that game. But yeah, if you get salty, that is not the game for you because you build up all this stuff and it's just like somebody gets a fuck ton of lasers like me and then it just fucking owns your face. So, but Gary's
Yup.
Mod, another good one where you have like a whole bunch of different games you can kind of play and whatnot. Foundation, there's always the games I've been
Right.
streaming recently, which you guys can watch as I stream them. But like Foundation's a good city builder. If you haven't played Foundation, you should watch me do a little bit of streams of that because that game's a lot of fun. Not really goal in mind, but just like medieval city builder and whatnot. So
Ooh.
yeah, I'd recommend that one because I've been streaming that recently. So I think I have like 3 episodes on one. So like you might want to check that out and see if you'd be interested in that game because that game's a lot of fun too. But yeah, is there any like big games you kind of want to go over? Because like I said, we're getting close to that. Oh, actually, myself. We're getting close to that hour mark, so I
I
don't want to go
found
too
that
much over. But
other one I was looking for the 2D kind of, more like flat games.
mm-hmm.
It was called Fran Bow. Basically, walking around as um, this little girl, and it's like Alice in Wonderland, but kind of Tim Burton in Wonderland.
Oh yeah, okay,
So
interesting.
so it gets all crazy and stuff. Basically, she's an orphan girl who gets placed in the custody of like a mental institution.
Mm-hmm.
So she escapes,
Oh,
and just goes down this crazy like quest, yeah, to find her way back to her family and figuring out what happened, like, and how she got orphaned and stuff. And it's really rather interesting
gotcha,
and macabre,
gotcha. Yeah,
macabre.
okay. Some other games that I haven't really streamed that are pretty good too. War Game. Did you ever play War Game? Because that's kind of a real time strategy. You can make like your own custom. It's almost like decks. Like you custom like tanks or like you pick like what nation you want and like what vehicles they
Ooh,
want. That's a good one too. War Game Red
that
Dragon is
sounds
the
like
newest, I
something I
think.
would eat up in a
That's a multiplayer game that we could play too. Definitely,
war
that one's a
game.
good
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I'd look into that one. War Game Red Dragon,
That
I
sounds
think, is the newest one, but that one's like I said, real time strategy, um, and it's kind of hard to describe. But you can have like jets and like tanks and like ships and like a whole bunch of other stuff. The ships are super overpowered, so I generally avoid ocean maps. But Age of Empires, not good. Obviously, classic. They just did the definitive edition remastered
oh,
of Age of Empires 2, but Age of Empires 3 and 4 I wasn't or 3 I wasn't into. They're making Age of Empires 4 right now. I just saw the other day, so I'm excited to see when that comes out. But
oh, no way.
yeah,
Nice. That's gonna be awesome.
yeah, I don't know what kind of time period they're doing for that, but I don't know. The Age of Empires 3 I just wasn't as into with the guns and stuff. I kind of like the sword fights and whatnot. But U-Boat
Right.
is another game that is like newer, and if they updated it more, I'd probably be more into it. But that one's like realistic, like how you'd actually do a U-Boat during World War II and whatnot. So you actually have like missions they can kind of assign. Like it's open world, so you can go across anywhere in the ocean and kind of encounter random ships and whatnot. But you do have like missions, and I think I don't know if they have like a whole end goal thing where like you can beat the war or whatnot. But I haven't played that much in depth. But that's a good like simulator game. And they're coming out with one for an aircraft carrier too, which would
Hmm.
be interesting. But other games I'm looking at real quick,
That
just
does
to, like,
cool.
dude, I remember this one game. I bought this game like years ago, Wolf Simulator, and
Wolf
it was like
Simulator.
$2, and it's like so buggy. I don't know. It was made like 1% or something, but they offered like that they're gonna update it and like add a whole bunch of stuff to it, right? And right now you can like have a partner and like make like a den and stuff, but they never updated it. They released it in 2017 and they never updated it.
Fuckers.
I know, so I was like, that's a game. There was like an online one that I found too. It was like Yellowstone. It's like a sponsored by Yellowstone Park or something where you could have like a mate and stuff, and that was actually multiplayer, so you could like play with other people and like fight each other, and it was a really cool one.
Interesting.
I don't remember the name of it. That's a really old one. I highly doubt it's still around, but that was an interesting one too. So like two more games I want to go over real quick. We have Wreckfest, Which if you haven't played Wreckfest, that's also like another realistic game where you can kind of like,
Wreckfest.
yeah,
I
just wreck each
have
other. Right?
smashing cars.
And I tried streaming XCOM Chimera Squad. I just couldn't get into it. Like I don't know. Like there's some videos of me playing that. I think I don't know if I was multi-streaming on YouTube yet.
XCOM.
Well, XCOM Chimera Squad is supposed to be a little bit
That's
different than regular
the
XCOM.
turn-based alien one, right?
Yeah. And I don't know, I just couldn't get into XCOM Chimera Squad. I know Aiden was telling me how regular XCOM is a little bit different, but I don't know why. That was just one, like, I just got kind of bored of the turn based. It seems like a lot of the battles were the same, and I don't know. I just,
Yeah, that was my biggest problem with XCOM was the turn-based squad strategy. If I'm doing like squad strategy, I need it to be real time.
yeah. Well, I like real time and turn based generally, but I don't know. It's just one I couldn't get into anyway. But do
I
real
need
quick, I
it.
tell if the chat has any questions or
Well,
has
I do.
any
I
getting
like
in, want to go
turn-based
real
too,
quick.
but I prefer my turn-based more like grand strategy.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, we didn't go over like Grand Theft Auto. Like I used to play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas a lot. That was kind of a classic one. But
Classic.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is pretty good. I haven't completed the whole story for that one.
Loved it.
But the multiplayer, I played a lot of the multiplayer because they have like the heists and stuff that are really cool. So I played a lot of that with Aiden and Michael for sure. But I haven't played it really recently. But they do have LSPDFR, which is like a mod you can get where you can play as the police or whatever in that game, and that's pretty in depth with how.
Really, that
Yeah,
sounds really cool.
that's a really good one, and they updated it where like it saves your character, and like you can be off duties. Like you can actually play Grand Theft Auto as like your police character, basically, and like go do stuff outside of just do police work and stuff. But they have like community plugins and stuff, so you can have like so many missions and whatnot based off that. They're like predetermined missions and whatnot, but that's a lot of fun too. So, but anyway, yeah, like I said, do you have any last games you kind of want to go over real quick because we're getting kind of close, but.
Other than good old Fallout, I've played the shit out of Fallout
Mm.
3 at New Vegas
And
growing
that's
up,
very
and then
similar to
Fallout
Skyrim,
4
but
when it came out. Excellent. It's
mm,
pretty much Skyrim, but in the future.
yeah, the dark
But like nuclear
apocalyptic
Fallout
world
future,
that
yeah.
we could very much
Super
be a
post-apocalyptic.
real thing. So guys, start collecting
Yeah.
your caps, your bottle caps now, so that you have currency for the apocalyptic future. But
Yep.
yeah, but obviously we could drone on about video games all day. But like I said, we're pretty much out of time. So I think it doesn't look like anybody in chat has any questions, like any games they want to recommend. So, but anyway,
Alrighty, yo.
all right, yeah. Well, thanks for joining me again, Casey, and obviously we'll be back next week. I haven't quite decided what next week's topic is going to be, so I'll let you know if you want to join or whatnot. But yeah, I think we just need to do one on like COVID, so we might need to do like one on how the world is now and kind of like what just the COVID based one, because obviously I think I have more info than the average person with my medical career and being a COVID tester now and
Right.
the vaccine, and I think I can give a little bit more info to people. So I think that'd be a good one. So if you want to join me next week, I think we should just do a COVID based one. But if you're down, no, maybe.
Right on.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and I'll
I'd be
talk to you
down.
later. All right.
But of course, have a good night.
All right. Good night. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me again for this podcast. Hopefully, we didn't. I don't know. I tried to be descriptive about games and whatnot, but I'm not the best at being super descriptive. So, but yeah, I think the next week we definitely should do a COVID one, like I was saying. So, I can kind of hopefully clear up some misconceptions about COVID, and I can give you guys some info about like the vaccine and how the COVID testing works, and what I've experienced throughout COVID and whatnot. So I think that will be a good, interesting one that I can hopefully drone on about for a while. So obviously, I did at the beginning of this podcast kind of talk a little bit about how nobody was wearing masks in church when I went on Sunday, and yeah, don't want to get too much into that, but that was I don't know. That was very surprising to me. So, but yeah. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you guys soon, and have an amazing night.